Who here has heard of something called EFT? So good, okay. And who here meditates regularly? Awesome, okay. Who here would like to meditate more and has trouble with it? Okay. And what are the sort of things that you find happen when you try and meditate? Anyone?
Get distracted by thought.
Distractions by thoughts, okay. Anything else? Outside noise, which creates distracting thoughts. Yeah. So EFT is a simple way of removing negative feelings and beliefs and emotion, whether it's stress or anxiety or angry feelings, hateful thoughts and feelings. And I'll show you how to use it specifically in the context of meditation. And basically, you focus on a negative feeling and you tap these points and the negative feeling goes away. So what I'd like you all to do is just take a deep breath and relax. And whatever it is you normally do to meditate or center yourself or whatever your practice is, just even, you don't even have to do it particularly, but just even think about doing it. And focus on whatever feeling you notice in your body. And so in fact, we'll actually do it. And just so when something comes to you, just raise your hand, and I'll point to you, and you can say what it is. So if everyone just empties their mind and basically just begin to meditate as if you were at home. Maybe sit up straight and focus on that feeling. So if anything distracts you from that meditation, that meditative state, just raise your hand and see, and let me know what it is. Noise, okay. And as you, even though that noise is there, what is it that it triggers in you that distracts you from that meditative state?
I wanted to look around and see what it was.
Okay, cool. And what noise was it in particular? Just people coming in and
Footsteps.
Cool. Welcome, by the way. Okay, anyone else? What is it? What does that noise do to you? Like if you're in that meditative state, what feeling do you get and what happens? Disconnection. So you were feeling connected, and then it's like you go off. Got it. Okay. So let's try tapping on that, and then we'll get someone to create the same sort of level of noise to see if it makes any difference to that reaction in your body. So to tap, we just start tapping on it's called the karate chop point. It's where you would karate chop something. And take a deep breath. And so just repeat after me, even though there's this noise, and it distracts me, I lose my connection. Anyone else? Any words to add to that? Okay.
Focus.
I lose my focus. Great. So it distracts me. I lose that peaceful focus. So just say, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I lose my connection when there's noise, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And one more time, even though I lose my focus when there's a noise, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So what we're doing there is basically like kind of waking your whole body up and making sure that energy is moving around your meridians in the right direction. So next we tap just here, which is on the end of the eyebrow, just above the nose. So just tap there, and we're just going to say a shorter phrase just to remind us on what we're tapping on, which is noise. So just say noise. Distraction. Disconnection. And now on the side of the eye, just in the corner of the eye, noise. Distraction. Disconnection. Noise. Distraction. Disconnection. Noise. Distraction. Disconnection. So, did anyone feel anything there? Or actually, you know when you suddenly hear a noise that's finishing that you hadn't noticed it was there, like when the train comes to a halt or something like that and it's suddenly quiet? Did anyone notice a feeling or like switching off? I mean, I felt the room become more peaceful. And I suddenly feel more comfortable in front of you for whatever reason. Did anyone else notice anything? Yeah, what?
Just like
Calmer. Okay, great. So there's actually 10 points, so we'll go on to the next one. So underneath the eye. And you can do both sides. It's kind of optional. You can do either side with either hand, or you can do just whatever feels right, really. And it doesn't even matter. It usually works whatever you do, but sometimes it's good to just follow your intuition. I'm distracted by this noise. I lose my connection. That's it. I lose my connection. I lose my connection. So maybe not so much on that one. Under the nose, this is probably going to be a bigger change. Noise. Distraction. I lose my connection. And on the chin, noise. Distraction. Lose my connection. On the collarbone, noise. Distraction. I lose my connection. And under the armpit, noise. Distraction. I lose my connection. And on the side of the thumb, just like that, noise. Distraction. I lose my connection. Noise. Distraction. I lose my connection. And the next finger, noise, distraction, I lose my connection. And then the little finger, noise, distraction, I lose my connection. And take a deep breath. So if you go back to that that state of meditation that you were looking for, is it easier to find it? Is it easier to get into it? Awesome.
Yeah, I've had this in the past where I've been meditating and I'll have a negative thought about something I don't want. If
Okay.
That makes sense. Or don't want to happen. The same technique, I take it.
All right. Yeah, we'll do that one right away. So again, close your eyes again and go right into that that meditative space. And I'll just give you a second to get there. Trying to look for something to make some noise with. Is it easier to stay in that meditative state?
Yes.
Awesome. What feels different?
I wasn't irritated by it at all the first time around.
Okay. Magic. Woo! Yeah.
It seems as though there's also there's a more of a shared
Right.
sense of experience that came after that.
Okay.
That was my sense of it. At the beginning, when you asked everybody to meditate, it was maybe you could say it was sort of 40 people meditating
Yeah.
individually.
And now the sense of peace has taken over the room.
You could feel there was a shift to where actually everybody was in it together and it felt more stable.
Awesome. Yeah. So we'll go on to the negative thoughts. Yeah, I mean, on that subject, one thing I've used a lot is I've used tapping for a lot is not having to feel other people's feelings, because I'm very empathic, and you can look at that two ways. It's very useful to be sensitive to others and others' needs and the way they're feeling, but at the same time, if you take their stuff on, it's not so good. And you know, no one ever told me growing up that you're not supposed to feel other people's feelings, so I would almost buy into it. Who finds they get dragged down by other people's feelings too much sometimes? So one thing you can use tapping to tap away that feeling, and you can also use the tapping to be able to tell the difference between their feelings and yours, so you don't take on their feelings in the first place. And then you can also, with that shared sense of the room, you can also basically tap away so that you're just sharing the good feeling, basically, the state you want to be in. So with the thoughts, we're going to do an extra part of EFT that we didn't use yet. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say at the beginning I was being asked to choose what was
Yeah.
getting in the way for us. And for me, I had something about feeling lonely, that I wanted a connection with my partner and he wasn't here,
Right.
available to share the meditation with.
Mm.
But then as soon as we started tapping, I felt the connection at a different level.
Yeah.
So it was like the loneliness disappeared, I just felt connected.
Yeah.
Whatever he was doing.
And he's probably like, if you maybe if you send him a text in a minute, you're probably he may even have sensed that.
Yeah.
It really does work like that. Okay, so did anyone notice any negative thoughts as well as that one? Any that came up just then as we meditated the second time?
I wasn't as stressed out
Okay.
because I'm always thinking about like things I have to do at work on
Yeah.
Monday and things like that. That's the problem I have. That's where I get really depressed and stressed out. Just the amount of work I have to do.
Right.
And
So
this time I didn't think about it.
Oh, okay.
It was actually
Great.
really good.
So even so I'll get you to meditate again for a few seconds now, and then see if those thoughts from work start to creep in. When I first started to learn to meditate, I was going to a Buddhist monastery in the town where I lived, and I was in quite a stressful job at the time, and I went twice a week for about 6 months, and it really, it did almost nothing. You know, I would sit there, and I'd actually find myself using the time to think, even accidentally, and when I started using tapping, it just became much easier to put those, like to just let go of those thoughts and to focus even on distractions in my body as well. So again, yeah, this time. So if you can stay in that meditative state, just obviously do that because it's great. But just be aware of other thoughts, like and probably everyone will have one. Just be aware of the first thought that shows up to distract you or stress you, because that will actually be the thought that's probably bothering you most in your life at the moment anyway. So again, just go into that meditative state. And just raise your hand when you've got one. Okay, cool. Did anyone notice the dog barking then? And was it that bothered you? Okay. And it's just sort of happening, right? It didn't require any response from you. What was the?
One is my heart was going fast because I had coffee before I came.
Right. Yeah, me too.
It has slowed down since the last one, but it's still quite strong.
Okay.
It's distracting me.
Okay. So again, let's not even try and change that. I'm actually also the inventor of coffee meditation, where I'll drink huge amounts of coffee in the morning and then just sit. And
It does distract you when it's going really fast. Originally, it was like I couldn't focus.
right. Okay, so coffee. Do you have one? Oh, one of you had one.
No, I was away
Oh,
from
you
the
just-
area, so that's great.
Oh, okay. All right, great. You have one.
Mine was more
Just-
related to a specific desire, basically.
A specific desire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm worried
When-
about whether it can happen. Or
One you want to share, or?
It's about a certain girl, let's put it
Okay.
that way.
Yeah. Cool. And so the first thing you feel as soon as you center yourself
Being there.
is she's not there.
Yeah.
Got it. And you'd work. Is there anything specific about work?
Just I don't enjoy it.
Okay, cool. So there's not so much common thread there, but so we're just going to tap in a general way, and I'm not even going to use more specific language, but see what you notice. Like, has anyone like not got one? Was anyone like just instantly Zen state then, or no? Okay, you were all right. So yeah, again, just see if you notice anything changing, and if you can either think back to times that you have really been distracted by something meditating, or like project forward. If you could be like the ultimate Zen master, what would be in the way of that for you right now, if anything? So we'll go a bit quicker. So on the karate chop, even though I have these thoughts that stress me, make me feel disconnected, I accept myself anyway. Even though my thoughts disconnect me, I accept myself anyway. Even though my thoughts disconnect me, I deeply and completely know and accept myself anyway. So just go here. My thoughts disconnect me. My thoughts disconnect me. Underneath the eye, my thoughts disconnect me. Under the nose, my thoughts disconnect me. On the chin, my thoughts disconnect me. collarbone, my thoughts disconnect me. And under the armpit, my thoughts disconnect me. So what we're doing there is balancing out the meridian system, which is the lines of energy in your body under Chinese acupuncture. And what we're going to do now is, so it balances it out by just drawing your attention to the different corners of your body, basically, which is where whatever was distracting you would kind of be stuck. So it's just sort of letting it go. So if you now tap on the back of the hand, just behind the fourth finger, that finger, the ring finger, and what we're going to do now is open and awaken different parts of your brain. So take a deep breath and let go. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Without moving your head, send your eyes down to your left, the bottom left-hand corner, then over to the bottom right-hand corner, then back to the left-hand corner, and now roll them all the way around, and roll them all the way around the other way. And you might get the sensation that's kind of opening up. If you've studied NLP, you'll know that different directions you can look in relate to different parts of your brain. And we're going to hum, which activates the right brain. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, which activates the logical left brain, and then hum again. So that's helping communication between both sides of the brain. And take another deep breath. So you might find you feel clearer, and you might find that distraction has actually come back a bit after doing that. So now tap through the points again. I'm distracted. My thoughts distract me. I'm disconnected. My thoughts disconnect me. On the side of the eye, my thoughts disconnect me. I'm stressed about work. I'm stressed about love. I'm stressed about the noise. And underneath the eye, my thoughts disconnect me. My thoughts disconnect me. Under the nose, my thoughts disconnect me. And on the chin, my thoughts disconnect me. And on the collarbone, my thoughts disconnect me. And under the armpit. Did anyone notice a shift there? That was the one for me that time. Okay.
I certainly didn't recognise outside noises in any at all, actually.
Interesting.
Moved on from my own.
Yeah. And so we'll go into the meditative state again, and if you notice, just see what you notice, and everything that we've worked on will probably have changed in some way. It might not be, completely done, but around about 10 times the amount of tapping that we've done just now, which you can do from our website, tapping.com. Just use the front page video, and it will take you through exactly what we've done. You can just get through decades of meditation practice.
When you started, is that what initially came up about the noise, and for me it was about frustration, irritation, actually, is something that is a bit of an issue throughout my life.
Right.
What you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always going to be the first thing that is bothering you generally in your life is going to be like, well, hang on, I don't want you in this meditative state. I want you to deal with this, and for that you're going to need to get stressed. You're going to need to get angry and uptight, and it's trying to help you, but it's in modern life it doesn't really help. So I'm just going to show you one last. We've got a couple of minutes, haven't we? Yeah. So again, back into that meditative state, and you should find it a bit easier now even. And when you have something, just raise your hand. Anyone else got something? It's a lot easier, isn't it? Yeah, what do you have?
Mine's not heart, but I do actually have an underlying heart condition, so
Okay.
if it is any stimulant, that's why I always feel
Right.
palpitations.
So we'll see if that changes. Did you have one or no? Okay? Anyone else? Anything distracting them from that state now, just to work on? Okay. Well, let's go into that a couple more minutes. And yeah, if anything distracts you from meditating, just raise your hand. And in fact, what's the feeling? Does that feel, like, does it feel nice to be in that state, or does it feel sad, or out of it, or empty in any way? Like, does anyone, like, the more you can bring that Zen state into your real life, the more it should make you feel joyful and relaxed. Is there anything in the way of that you hadn't noticed until I said that? Okay. Sure.
I just thought of a river, just flowing nicely.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Yeah.
I'm kind of odd. I kind of get weird visions. It's really vivid imagination, so I've had all this kind of stuff, like
All right.
just very odd stuff. But it doesn't bother me.
I mean, I'd actually love to do another talk on the visions and things that come to me in meditation.
Yeah.
But they don't bother you.
No, they're not stressful. They're just odd.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can let go of odd and replace it with maybe useful, or see if that changes.
As I said, I don't. It's just unusual. It's just very, very strange stuff. It's
Yeah,
like
okay.
creatures up and shapes and things.
Got it.
As I said, it's unusual.
Creatures.
Yeah, just weird.
Talk to me in the break.
There's certainly for me a Zen-like, very peaceful state, but also I sense that there's a collective respect in the room for
Mhm.
what's happening in terms of people much more considerate and in tune with each other.
Sure. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
different feeling my skin in the room, I think, in
Yeah.
what we've created.
Okay. So let's go. So was anyone noticing, like, just noticing their body particularly distracting them?
Yeah, there's a feeling in my like solar plexus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, just sort of scan your body for anything that's in the way. And all we're going to do is just tap on the head. And just what this can do is open the crown chakra. And more importantly, it's kind of opening any of the meridians that are holding anything there. The energy can start to move out of the way of the crown. So just take a deep breath and just send out the intention to whatever it is distracting you or stressing you, whether it's in your body or outside. Just kind of ask for the answer or the solution for that to come through. And just take a deep breath. And just see if that's different at all. Does anyone notice anything different from that? Any change with that coffee kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel a lot calmer than
Yeah.
before, and although there is a slight nose out, it feels muffled.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And the last point I was going to show you today is just tapping on the thymus. And it's sort of the thing. It's sort of the one where you do like tap it quite fast, quite quickly for a minute or so, and after that you'll find that energy is like moving around your body and it's just unblocked, and it will be easier for it to relax. So those last two aren't strictly EFT, but they're just really useful tapping points. So any questions before I vanish from the stage?
I find the tapping makes me too relaxed.
Okay.
I start getting almost sleepy.
Right. Yeah, and you can tap sleepy, and you can tap the idea that you should be sleepy, and because there's real tired, right, at the end of a busy day when you've really worked hard, where you just actually need sleep, and then there's I've just eaten a big meal, or I don't want to deal with that kind of tired, and that sort of tired will really easily tap usually. Unless that there could be not that it would necessarily be a big health problem, but there could be some sort of physical issue as well that would like tension or whatever. But yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, can you share like how you meditate and when? How do you build it into your routine?
Yeah, I meditate all the time. Just all the time. Right now. It's as soon as your subconscious learns that you want to meditate and that it's good for you and that it's better, it's almost like you can kind of not that you're putting pressure on yourself, but just lean on in a particular direction and get more into that meditative state. So I meditate on the bus, on the tube, in the morning before I go to sleep. Yeah. I often meditate lying down, which, when you start off, you will fall asleep, but that doesn't actually matter. Especially if you've really set an intention, you'll often find that through a little power nap or whatever, you've arrived at whatever it was you wanted from the meditation anyway. Not that you should particularly go into a meditation with a goal, but it's in terms of in terms of finding the solution of something, it'll often come to you after a little nap. But yeah, just like the more we can meditate and get into that connected state, that's when life gets into flow, and you can go and spread love and joy and generally make the world a better place, I think.
Can I just ask a question? And I'm sorry, I came a little bit late, so maybe
Yeah,
I
sure.
missed it.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I try to meditate, I just find it so incredibly dull and boring. And my mind is just racing, and there are all sorts of thoughts happening. Not necessarily unpleasant, but just too active. So
Yeah.
what's one tapping that you would recommend to kind of bring stillness?
We'll do it. Have we got 2 more minutes? Yeah. So even though I find, and actually one thing that is important is to uncross your legs and put them both on the floor. So even though, with as much feeling as possible, I find meditating very dull and boring. And can you feel that in your body? Like there's I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though it's dull and I feel sleepy and it's boring, it's really boring. And we can exaggerate. I want to die. I just want to lie down. Just leave my body. I accept myself anyway. So even though it's dull and boring, I accept myself anyway. And on the eyebrow, dull and boring. Side of the eye, dull and boring. Underneath the eye, dull and boring. Underneath the nose, dull and boring. And on the chin, dull and boring. And on the collarbone, dull and boring. And under the armpit, dull and boring. And we'll just do the fingers, dull and boring. Dull and boring. Dull and boring. Dull and boring. And on the top of the head. So it's almost like you've got dull and boring, and it's almost like you reach up and find some other option and download it. And take a deep breath. And relax a bit. So we've brainwashed you now. So you had this question, and so you were thinking about meditating in the future, right? And you're like, oh, I always find it. Well, how do you find it?
Not always. So sometimes, like today I can meditate and I really enjoy it. But sometimes, especially in the morning, when I have a busy day, and it doesn't necessarily unpleasant busy day. It's just, I can't bring myself to do it. Even 30 seconds seems like eternity.
Okay. So now it seems like eternity. Is it a dull and boring eternity?
It's just, I have so many
Okay.
words.
Where's dull and boring gone?
Well,
Can you find that dull and boring? Say out loud. Sometimes I find meditation dull and boring.
sometimes I find meditation dull and boring.
Does anyone believe her as much as before we did the tapping? Like it's really subtle, but she's smiling. Do you get it? Do you get it? Is it changed?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. That's it. Thanks a lot.